Eugene, you've had some pretty big days and nights in UFC, but how does this one compare? Madison Square Garden and 4 fighters in.
Yeah, I mean, this is right up there. This is, look, it's every fighter's dream to fight at Madison Square Garden. That's the most historic fight venue in the world. And we've got 4 on at one night, which doesn't seldom get done by the UFC. They don't often put 4 people from one particular team on an event. They've given us that privilege once before, but part of that was because of COVID and because we couldn't travel, so it was much easier to put everybody together. So it was quite good.
Tell us a little bit about the camp. How long is it going to be?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of in like pre-camp now, so there's like 11 weeks or 10 weeks now. I can't know yet. So we haven't started like the proper grind yet that we start. We'll do that very shortly. But all the boys are in. Brad at the moment's over in Thailand. So he's with Frank, and he's getting a lot of good training, a lot of good wrestling, and then Carlos, Dan, and Izzy are here. So and they're in every day, just kind of like they're kind of just like getting their bodies ready for what's about to happen. So they're in pretty good nick. They're not like overtraining, and they're not. Now's a bit early to start kind of ramping up towards those fights. So. They're looking good, all things considered, that we haven't really even started yet.
Tell us a little bit about the matchups and do you have any say and did you get a choice or did you take what you got?
Look, the UFC, they don't muck around like you don't. By the time you get to the UFC, like that's it. Like they send a name on your desk, you sign a paper. So. I have the tiniest little bit of influence, no more than any other trainer, but for the most part the names came over the desk, and this team and the fighters are at the stage where if a name comes then we're happy to take the name. I think we've shown that. And I mean, if I start at the top, Izzy's obviously got PEREIRA, and PEREIRA, It's one of those old school kind of like matchups where there's a couple of specific weapons that are highly dangerous, and we have to put a plan together to kind of like keep us out of danger, mitigate those dangers, take certain things away from him, and then impose our plan. But in saying that, like there's always, like he hasn't shown like great diversity in his game, but you never know. Like he could be working on some wrestling, all sorts of great. Like it's MMA now, so anything is possible. So we have to be ready. But for the most part, we kind of know what's coming, and we just have to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's in regard to that. So yeah, that'll be a very interesting matchup that Israel's been looking forward to his whole career. So that'll be cool. Brad or Dan has PUELLES. I forget his first name. I believe he's from. I'm not going to say where he's from. I'll probably muck that up, but yeah, again, a very good fighter, up and coming fighter. He's trying to work his way into the rankings, make his way. He's trying to, he's got a match up with Dan. That's cool, kind of like that's him kind of step up in level of competition. And I guess it's just up to us and up to Dan to let him know that, there's a reason the top 15 is a top 15, and this is why, and we just need to show him that he maybe has to do a little bit more development. That's the truth. That's the job that we've got. He's a dangerous fighter, super talented. Possibly might be undefeated or has had one loss. Pretty good everywhere, good on the ground, pretty good striking, southpaw. And again, like everybody has, you know, like 2 or 3 weapons that you really have to like really pay some proper attention to, and he's no different to any other fighter. So, look, Dan's highly motivated at the moment. The guy never stops training. So like this is gonna be about Dan just re-establishing himself as one of the best fighters in the world, and yeah, and we've got a good opponent to do that.
Yeah, I always think that Dan was the one that suffered the most over the last couple of years with going off here, there, and on his own a lot, and training on his own, and he had the government chasing him. And there was lots of things. He didn't make any excuses, but yeah.
Nah, man, like then that's just the way he is. That's just the way this team has to be. Like you sign the dotted line, like, you know, like as long as the opponent like sticks to the rules and you sign the dotted line, then what can you do? You sign no matter what the circumstances are. You sign to do that fight. You turn up, have a fair shake at it. You come off second, and you got to take that on the chin. Dan's always been very good at that. Yeah, for sure. Like he had a really bad run. He definitely suffered because of COVID, perhaps more than, you know, a lot of the guys. Without like putting too much dirty laundry out there. Also, Dan is the person that listens to me and the coaches the least sometimes, you know. Whereas, and at the same time, I've got to respect that, and that should be respected. Like, you know, like sometimes, you know, sometimes the coach's decisions they're in your best interest. Like we're making that decision because we feel that that's the best thing for you. And you know, and so many things have to be considered when you're making a decision to take a fight. You know, the future. There's monetary and economic reasons why. And yeah, for sure, some of the circumstances that he's taken some of these high-level fights have been shocking, quite frankly, and I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. But nevertheless, like, you decide to take the fight, sign a dotted line, like once that's done, that's all steam train, full ahead. So those are the circumstances that we've had to work with. No excuses. But now's the time for Dan to just kind of re-establish himself as, like I said, one of the best fighters in the world, which I still truly believe he is. Yeah. And now's the time for us to do that. So that's our goal with that fight. Brad is in Thailand at the moment, training with Frank.
Is there a reason for that? Is it, you know, working on the ground game?
It's just to spend more time with Frank and George over there. Like they you know, they're obviously very good wrestlers. They have a very particular type of wrestling style, and he just wanted to make a concentrated effort on that. He went over there before he had the fight, and then chatting to him, he just decided that he will do half of his camp there and half of his camp here. And I don't have an objection to that. I think that's a great idea. I think, you know, there's certain people in the world that if I wasn't looking after the whole thing, I would entrust them to do it. And Frank and George are two of those people over at Bang Tao MMA gym over there. And it just feels like that's the right thing to do. Brad can like get back to his roots. Phuket, Thailand, that's where he started his career. And to be fair, Brad's like searching for a few answers, as fighters do. Fighters search for answers. There is no answer. Like, sorry to let you know, Brad, there is no answer. The answer is sometimes you're the nail and sometimes you're the hammer. And sometimes life throws stuff at you, and sometimes it just doesn't, like, you know, the stars just don't align and it's not your way. There's no particular, there's no answer. That's how the universe works. And he's looking for answers. He went back to his roots, back to Thailand, and I think it's a great idea. I'm in full support of it. Like I said, there's very few people that I want to trust that are good enough to kind of look after people of Brad's caliber. George and Frank are one of them, so I think it's a great addition to this fight plan and this fight camp for Brad. So he's fighting MOICANO, a UFC veteran, someone who's been around good on the ground, good on his feet, mentally very strong, very tough. And he's been around the traps. Like you can't beat experience, and MOICANO has a lot of experience, and that's something that we're going to have to overcome, is that experience. MOICANO's been in all sorts of situations through all sorts of adversity, so nothing's going to faze MOICANO. And again, like Brad, you know, you're going to look back at Brad's record, people are going to look back at Brad's record in one day, and he's just going to be like, he's just faced a yeah, he's just faced a murderer's row of opponents, and that's but that's Brad. That's who he is. That's his personality. He doesn't shirk any hard work. Doesn't shirk any responsibility. Like, you throw it at him, and then he'll take it, you know, head first. Yeah, and then Carlos. I mean, I don't know if I want to try and pronounce the guy's name, but he's a Romanian guy. He's I can't say it, but anyway, he's a Romanian guy. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name. But again, very good fighter. Bit of a step up in competition for Carlos, but you know, nothing outside the realm of, you know, his skills and his mentality. Nothing outside the realm of what he can't take care of. This guy poses some unique challenges to Carlos, but Carlos, I believe, has the right game and the right weapons to kind of like mitigate that. So that's going to be a really good match to Carlos, and a match that's going to show him like where he is amongst the division, because this guy is also very good. Yeah.
Cool.
That's the roundup.
That's it.
It's gonna, like I said, like it's every fighter's dream, it's every trainer's dream, every team's dream to fight at that venue. That's the most historic fight venue in the world. It's going to be, they have 4 guys on it. It's, man, it's mind-blowing.
But yeah, I thought it would be right up there with some of your best days.
Yeah. I mean, having 4 guys on any card is like a very big deal. But having them 4 guys on at Madison Square Garden in New York City is absolutely nuts. Yeah, like I don't know what in terms of New Zealand and its context. I'm not sure what equivalent there is, you know. But I can't think of anything that comes to mind, but it's right up there. I would think it's probably not as, you know, I mean, the general public probably don't have too much of a clue like how big a occasion that is, but it's definitely a big one.
Yeah, you could count them up.
Yeah, I hope the country gets behind us and supports us, and we've got a massive task on our hands. But as we usually do, we're going to go out there and we're going to represent our family and friends, represent our gym, and also importantly represent our country. So, yeah.
And you'll do it with passion and pride, mate.
Thank you, Tony.
Well, I hope we can follow the journey.
Absolutely.